to talk about Ring of Honor. Talk to me about some of the young talent that's on top now that you got a chance to work with back in the day.
That was I always think it's like, I was talking about like, you get these career renaissance, right? But like, I feel like you get a few of them if you're lucky. If you're really lucky and you're willing to evolve, you can get these career renaissances. And so like after ECW, I get a long run in Japan, and then things are starting to come down, and like I got a chance to get the book in Puerto Rico for a year, and I was like, okay, here's my next adventure. Like being an old school wrestling fan, like this was cool to me. And then after that ran out, I was like, oh man, I'd love to go back to ROH, but there's no way I can hang with these guys. And like, it just happened that Kevin Steen wants to turn he wants to turn heel and be a villain, and Adam Pearce needs them to have this mentor, and he comes up with this plan. And like, Kevin says like, man, I wish Corino was back from Puerto Rico. And Pearce goes, you're not going to believe this. I just talked to him today. He's like coming to the show with his kid, and he just wants to see everybody. And they take me aside, and they're like, hey, would you be interested in this? And like, when I left Puerto Rico, I felt so like out of shape. And that's a lot for like, I wasn't always in the best physical shape as a wrestler. Like now at 49, I'm in the best shape of my life. Yeah, I'm in the gym more now at 49 than I did probably in my whole 20s. But yeah, so but 2010, it's Kevin Steen is young, and Generico's young, and Cabana's young, and then you got Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Eddie Edwards, and the Briscoe brothers are coming into their own, and Kenny King and Rhett Titus and BJ Whitmer, and like you just had this Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, you had this like plethora of young, hungry talent that was like just coming through, and all they wanted to do was learn. And I remember then, like, I'm 30, I would be 37 at that point, where like I was worried about keeping up with them, and they would always like, no, you'll be fine, like, and yeah, it was just so much fun to be around and be the vet that time, as opposed to I was the young guy when I was around you and Devin and Kidman and Pat and all those guys. Like I was the young boy learning from you guys, and now like I felt like, oh wow, they're coming to me for advice, and hopefully it worked out for them all.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, right before the pandemic, you got me tickets for a live event, and you told Kevin Owens that me and my son were coming. So we went in the back. He made sure he found me and took a picture of my son. Super cool.
Good super dude, cool right? Guy. Just such a good dude.
Yeah, nice guy.
I
mean, he's a terrible heel. He's a terrible guy.
One of my greatest memories of wrestling doesn't even have to do with me. It's like going to WrestleMania this year and like watching him like with my little 8-year-old and his mom, like we're just sitting there in the NXT suite, and we're just watching Kevin and Stone Cold, and like you hear the little French accent come out when he gets excited, so like you just knew that he was having the time of his life, and watching it, and I was so happy for him.
That's great. Yeah, nice guy. Tell me about what you're doing today for the WWE.
Coaching at the Performance Center. Love it. Like I didn't realize that I wanted to be a coach. I thought like when I got the job here is, I'll be a producer and then I'll be a coach, but like I really want to be a producer because that's what old wrestlers do, or agents and producers and this, and but there came a time when I was here as a coach and producer in NXT for 2 years, and then I went up to main roster to work live events for 6 months with Michael Hayes, and it was just a realization of like, you know what, maybe I'm an NXT person, and I got sent back to NXT, and like I found a love for coaching that I never thought I would have. Like, excuse me, just just being a positive influence in their life. I tell them all the time, like, I don't care if you're a better wrestler by the time you're done with me, like, just be a good human being. Like, and you know how it is, what us coming up, like, we saw a lot of bad people in like and it can only change with like everybody together changing. And like, I always use guys like you and Devin and Pat and as examples, like, man, you guys just loved wrestling and you were good people, just wanted to be wrestlers and good people. And I'm like, I want to be like those guys. I want to be like those guys.
That's awesome.
Like how you treated people in the locker room. And I know I told you that story too. Like you and Devin made me feel so welcome when I came to Jim Kettner's, because I didn't know anything. I was only a year in, but maybe 10 matches. And I didn't know a lot coming from the wrestling school in Reading, where there was like a lot of like backbiting and like the wrestling wasn't good and this. And here I am wrestling with guys that I'm reading about and Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I'm watching these matches that you guys are having, and then like you're treating me like an equal. And I'm like, I want to be that guy. That's the guy I want to be. And so I always try to do that. And I have the tag teams right now. So I'm so lucky. You get guys like the Creed brothers and Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, who's Bull Buchanan's kid, and just like good people, Idris Inofe and Malik Blade and Pretty Deadly and Andre Chase, who was one of the Bravados, and his partner Bodie Hayward. And then we get these young guys into our class that might be only at the Performance Center 2 or 3 months, but they're going to be a tag team. So like we have all these tag team concepts. Then they come in here and like, it's not just me coaching them. It's, 8 other guys like, hey, this is what we're doing. And this is what we learn. It becomes like a real team and a collaboration. I don't call any of my classes. It's practice. And like, you're not in my class, you're on my team. And because we're like, our tag team division is like, we're just tight, and we're fighting for spots and this, and we believe in it. And I don't have the Heyman in me, but like just motivating to just love pro wrestling 10% as much as I do. You're gonna love it a lot. And yeah, it's a dream job. I get to come to Florida every week and then go home to North Carolina on the weekends, and freaking Disney's here, and
Do they have electricity in Florida?
I know, right? I wanted to. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's retape the last 40 minutes because you were in the dark.
Yeah. I love that. It's hiding.
When you say you have the tag teams, what does that mean? Like, what's an average week for your job right now?
Oh, so for me, I usually arrive on Mondays. I do a production meeting for TV on. I'm looking at my calendar. On Monday night, we do TV on Tuesday, Wednesday. My guys do like video review. So we'll do a class. We'll watch back live events, TV. We might watch like a classic tag team match to see if like, hey, we're watching Hanson and Brody versus the Funks, like from '83 All Japan. Like, what could we take from this match and use it today? And Thursday and Friday we do in ring. And I'm one of those like nerdy teachers that like I have a curriculum. So like I'll send out a thing of like, hey, this is what we're working on here, and we're working on this concept for 22 minutes, and then we're moving on to here. And so it's very structured. And it's just lucky because everybody wants to learn and get better, and everybody comes in with the right attitude. And I used to think like, man, how does a person that never watched wrestling before accept what we do and excel at it? And you realize like once they're in the system and they figure it out and they learn that like pro wrestling is its own little universe. And once you understand that universe, like it opens up your mind to like how much fun and creative and how much power you really have as a like a performer and a human being. And one of the cool things about my job is going like there's a charity in Orlando called Give Kids the World, and it's families come down with sick kids, and then they fulfill wishes and they can stay, and it's free. And we take people that just want to volunteer and go down and judge a talent show and do, and you get to like, you realize like these kids who this person that they may not even know, but they know the concept of like, this person's a professional wrestler, and they can like, they're just enthralled. And I'm like, that is a power that you're so lucky that you get to hold, but it's fragile. Like if you drop it, you don't get it back. But like if you have it, like you can, make that person's life better for 10 minutes, or 3 minutes, and then after that, they can go back to worrying about real life things. But like as wrestlers, it's one of the coolest things ever is that, man, we get to affect somebody's emotional state for a few minutes at a time. And it's cool.